There's something you may be doing in Sunbreak that's seriously harming the quality of the expansion, but don't worry, the solution is actually really simple. Now, let me explain by first asking a question. What's the best skill in the game? Most people would agree that these are some of the best skills in the game, but which one is the best of the best? Well, let's start with a skill that's a staple on just about every meta set in the game, Weakness Exploit. This skill is incredible for a few reasons. First is the cost. It maxes out at level 3. To further this affordability, the jewel for this skill is only level 2, meaning that with just a single piece of armor and a jewel, you can max it out. And just what you get after maxing out this skill is part of what makes it such a staple. An extra 50% affinity is added to any weak spots on a monster. And since that's where you'll be hitting the majority of the time, this skill is effectively just 50% extra affinity for only 3 slots. However, this boost in damage does require a bit of precision. If you're only landing 10% of your attacks on weak spots, that 50% affinity is only technically 5. So what if we went for something a bit more simple and straightforward? Attack boost is about as basic as it gets. The higher the level is, the more damage you'll do. That's it. It's an extremely effective skill because of this, since you don't have to worry about hitting specific parts of the monster. It's just a flat attack increase. Furthermore, it's because of this flat increase that this skill works with basically every weapon and armor set, thereby making it one of the most commonly used skills in the game. But it's not without its drawbacks. To truly get the most out of this skill, you need 7 levels of attack boost. This isn't ideal as it takes up a ton of space that you could instead use for skills like Evade Extender, Defense Boost, or even damage-based skills like Weakness Exploit or Crit Boost. But maybe we're going about this the wrong way. Maybe the best skill in the game is something that has less to do with a flat damage increase and more to do with damage reduction. Evade Extender at its max level basically turns this into a totally different game because of just how far you can roll. Using this skill, you can avoid dozens of attacks that would have otherwise landed. And because of this new level of evasion, it actually allows you to continue attacking more frequently depending on the situation. To take this a step further, just surviving attacks that you wouldn't have without Evade Extender technically increases your DPS dramatically, since it's kinda hard to do damage when you're on a cart at the base camp. The best skill in this game isn't as straightforward as it may seem, and that's for a few reasons. The best skill depends on 2 things. First, your goal of the hunt. Let's assume you're hunting Rathalos, your best weapon is Sword and Shield, and you're planning on exploiting its weakness to Dragon. In this particular situation, the best skill might be something like Crit Element. However, if you want to go for a more KO focused build, this skill changes completely to something like Sluggard. So even in a situation as specific as what monster you're hunting, what weapon you're using, and even the element you plan to use, there's still variation between what skills are the best. But this is only half the story. The second thing that the best skill depends on is actually a person who's been thinking about subscribing to the channel for a while now. You as a player have a specific style that you use when you hunt. Personally, I'm extremely aggressive, oftentimes to my own detriment. So for me, skills like Bloodlust and Bloodright are great since they reward me for going all out. But not everyone plays like that. Maybe you don't enjoy constantly and very deliberately putting yourself on death's door for a minor reward. Maybe you prefer something safer and more consistent. If that's the case, your best skill might be something like Defense Boost or even Evade Window. This is why I say you may be harming the quality of the expansion for yourself. You may not enjoy hunting at all if you're focused on just dealing damage and playing as perfectly as possible. And as a result, in an almost backwards way, forcing yourself to play like that might actually make you slower, which totally defeats the purpose of using those skills in the first place. If you can complete a hunt more effectively using something niche like Bloodlust and you enjoy using it, then you should. Granted, this advice obviously doesn't apply to everyone, but I think it's important to remember that what matters most isn't necessarily finishing the hunt as quickly as possible. What's the most important is just having a good time. But speaking of goals, what's Capcom's goal with these title updates? And just what are they hiding? Check out this video to find out.